practicing.
You're live?
Yes.
I guess you are.
Let's not get that scared too much.
Yeah, that'll be
Yes.
okay. Cool. Let me blow. One second. How was your weekend?
Good.
Okay. Okay. Hi everyone. Happy Monday. I'm Natalie. I'm here with Dr. Maryam. Not only is she the inventor of BLAfit, but she is also a board certified dentist, having over 30 years of experience specializing in TMJ disorder, sleep apnea, and snore and orthodontics. So she has studied faces for basically half of her life, almost half of her life.
More than half of
More than half of her life. You're like, don't make it 60 yet.
Yes.
So she really knows the face anatomy very well. She knows how the face works very well, and through all of her knowledge, she developed the BLAfit and understood that there was a missing part in how faces were starting to become drooping and sagging at a much younger age. So that is why you decided to create something that is non-invasive, and it's healthy for you. There's no negative side effects to it. So I really don't see any cons to the BLAfit. But today we're going to talk about if face yoga is a myth. So we're going to hear to debunk all of those ideas that face yoga is a myth and that it doesn't work and that it causes wrinkles. And we're here to talk about why that isn't true.
Well, correct face yoga.
Correct face yoga. Yes, there you go. Because
any time that we do any type of a face. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Maryam Bakhtiari. I am honored to be here this morning. Natalie was out of town, so she's here. I missed her to sit with you guys, and I hope we can open up the podium for good questions and answers, because here our objection is for our audience to learn, and it's not just the sales. Sales is always great, but we just want to make sure that especially our young audience to understand that face yoga, is it a myth or not? Now, are you asking that questions from me?
Yes.
In my opinion, and into research, we know scientific research has proven that face yoga does lift the face, but it's through daily exercises. So the science is behind face yoga. Now, when we talk about what is face yoga, there's so many different exercises for the face, and there's so many people out there that they say they're face yoga. But you have to just remember, any exercise that you do, that you are using resistance, but you're not wrinkling anything. You're doing the exercise without overexerting that muscle where it has to overwork, especially on our lips. We're not going to cause wrinkles. But if we're doing anything, including holding just a pen, or people that are smokers, just a cigarette in their mouth, that movement, it's overdoing the lip muscles and they're wrinkling to be able to hold on that. So in the exercises that we've created with our exercising device, which we call our face yoga with resistance. So this is BLAfit.
Presley said hi from Michigan. Sorry, I had to say hi back.
So when we do these exercises, if we do them correctly, you're not going to create wrinkles. The objection is to provide a better platform on your face. So our faces have 50 plus muscles. And if our muscles are weak because we're juicing all day long, we're not even using our face muscle other than we're talking. We're not even chewing our food any longer. Our lunchtime or our dinner time is like no more than 10 to 15 minutes because everything is so soft and overcooked, doesn't require too much movement. The only thing that we're doing with our mouth, hardly nowadays with the Instagram and social media, is just to talk. And a lot of us know that today in the world of internet, we're not even talking much. Texting is the way to do it. So we will have beautiful thumbs, but we're not using our facial muscles. So it is, to me now more than ever, it's mandatory for people that want to have beautiful faces to do the work on their own.
Yeah.
And these are extra work on top of what we do daily as a normal eating, talking, chewing. Other than that, we have to take a minute or two a day and actually stretch these muscles, do different voices. But if you have the BLAfit appliance, it will do all that non-resistant face yoga that all the research is done on. So that's it. So is it a myth? No. Any muscle in our body that we work out, we can lift and plump, including our neck down, where we're all accustomed to go to hit the gym, exercise, and we're working out all of our arms, shoulder, abs, our legs. All the exercises we do has some sort of a resistance, whether it's with our weight, our own weight, or however we want to do weightlifting or any type of a resistant exercise. With BLAfit appliance is the only thing that work your facial muscles, which is 50 plus muscles, correctly if it is done correctly. So we will train you on Zoom to teach you exactly how to do it, not only not wrinkle your face, but also plump these little muscles and lift very, very cleanly, so that people don't see a face transformation where you feel like, oh, that person does not look like her. It will look like the better version of you.
Hunter asked if are men more prone to getting wrinkles. Hi, Hunter. It's a really good question. I don't think there's any studies to like prove that.
I don't know. I can look that up, Hunter. That's a great question. But I think, on the contrary, I would think, my opinion, this is not research. I don't know what the research talks about that or not. I think it's the opposite. Just because women do so much to their faces, right? We are 24 hours putting makeup, all these chemicals that goes in our skin basically is kind of counterintuitive to keeping the face beautiful. We're just temporarily doing all this face makeup. I think in my personal life, the men have really good skin because they shave, they hardly put any lotion in their face, but they have better skin. And it's
also probably the testosterone and stuff.
Yeah, maybe the hormones. I don't know. I don't have like the scientific answer to that,
Yeah.
but I think men need to exercise their face the same as women.
Right.
So I don't see any difference in our culture where women put makeup, men doesn't, woman does this. I feel like men do more body exercise. If you go to a gym, there's 10 men doing lifting and maybe 3 or 4 women. I feel like men just in general like to be buffed up more than female, but not on the face. Why not on the face?
You know, I find it so interesting that people always are very skeptical about like exercising the face, but they think it's only supposed to be for the body. But I'm like, you have to actually exercise your toes too. You know, you can work out your toes too, your neck as well. Like these are all things that people often forget about, but they're just as important. Like when we talk about full body fitness, we're talking about like everything as a whole.
Yeah.
So I don't see why people are so skeptical about face yoga. It's the same thing. We have muscles here.
We have more muscles in our face than in our arm. So we have, just imagine 50 plus, that means 52. There's like, there's 1 or 2 new muscles. These muscles are small and they intermingle and they work together. And unless we're chewing hard, raw food all day long, we're actually not using a lot of those muscles. And that's why the facial muscles are drooping earlier in our age. Like you see a 16-year-old young lady, you don't see much anatomy in their face. It's more flat. And if you take a 16-year-old that is from a northwestern islanders, another island where they eat raw food and where they eat wholesome food, their face has much more development and anatomy. And they have beautiful broad smiles. So we need to work on this. Being in a westernized world, because our nutrition is deprived of all the good nutritional facts, we need to actually consciously think about what nutrition should go in our body, how can we keep that raw chewing of nuts and things that we're vegetables, things that we are able to and our body doesn't have allergies to, and chew. But then I feel like more than ever facial exercise is needed, because especially with people that have jaw clicking or have jaw injury, when we have injury or we're clenchers or we have jaw clicking, usually we're pushing the jaw back and certain muscles have become shorter, just like people that have tight hamstring. And that creates more prone to injury of jaw injuries or jaw clicking or locking. If we don't exercise these muscles that are shorter and stretch it, and the muscle that are long, tighten it, if we don't do that, we're not going to be able to have a beautiful symmetrical face and healthy jaw joint. I always say healthy jaw joint. So especially for patients that are people that are drinking their food all day long, like the young individual. I mean, I work with a lot of the youngsters in my practice, and they bring their food is into shake form. I mean, I'm seeing them in the kitchen, they're shaking their food, and I'm thinking,
I am guilty of this.
and I'm thinking, okay, I mean, we don't have that much time because they're sleeping late, because they're exposed to all this light, and then they're waking up late, and they gotta get to work, and they have to put some food in their body because they don't want to lose their muscle. But when I see that, I'm thinking, wow, what would have been if we had a culture or our country was in there, they had a culture that we had to be forced to sit down and eat 15 to 20 minutes and chew our food. But unfortunately, we're in a fast world. Yeah, there's countries, you go to, I mean, still, since the westernization in 40s and 50s, things are overly cooked and overly prepared, and the fast food doesn't even require chewing. Even if I want to chew my hamburger or my, food that is I picked up from the next door, fast food chain, it doesn't require much chewing because it's the bread is soft, the meat is soft. You just want to have to chew soft things in your mouth. It becomes so liquidy. We need to go back and add vegetables that are raw, nuts that are raw in our food chain that we eat at lunch, breakfast, and dinner. So that requires more chewing and sitting down without having too much distraction and enjoy and flavor the food. But since we're not doing that because we're all running behind our selves, trying to meet expectations and work assignments and so forth, I would say taking a minute to two a day to actually do these exercises will continuously keep your facial muscles intact.
And like you said, it's really important to do the movement correctly, because just like with any other movement overall, like for the body, if I go to work out and if I'm not actually doing the movement correctly, I'm not going to get the benefits. I'm probably going to hurt myself. And I'm not going to target the muscles the right way. So that is why it's so important when we do like the BLAfit exercises. Yes, there's only 2 exercises, the vertical and the horizontal one, and people tend to just like put it in their mouth and do the movement very quickly. But it's really important to, one, develop a nice mind to muscle connection with your facial muscles when you're doing the exercises. Focus on breathing, focus on doing the movement slow, and really just making sure that you're targeting the muscles the correct way. So we teach that with the complementary trainings, so people can really feel confident doing these exercises on their own. We're kind of like your little personal trainers, but you're for your face.
Yeah. Well, everything has to be trained. Another fact, Natalie, is that our face is, you guys, if you take all this skin and muscles out layer by layer, there's so many neurovasculature, nerve, artery, and vein that pass underneath this beautiful skin. And probably the most vascular region in our body, other than our heart, is our face. Because your leg has muscles, blood supply, not as much. I mean, if I show you the picture from my anatomy book of what passes, each layer that we pass, there's a nerve. There's the biggest sensory nerve passes behind our facial structure. The cranial nerve 5, which has got 3 branches, pass there. And these are nerves and blood supplies that are crucial for our brain health and our facial health and our heart. Because just think about the carotid artery and the jugular vein that come from our heart and is pumping to the upper part of our body, passes in this region. So if we're not doing the facial exercises correctly, we can actually create harm. So just like when you get up and get a dumbbell and start weightlifting, you can injure your shoulder if you don't do it correctly. The same thing is, there's a joint here in our lower jaw, and that's called temporomandibular joint. As a temporomandibular joint disorder specialist, I will teach you how to do it to keep the joint healthy and do these exercises to be able to not only improve your facial structure and lift and balance, but also keep that jaw joint healthy. That is very important to us because that's what we do. Every patient that I treat for TMJ here, they get a BLAfit appliance. I mean, they buy a BLAfit appliance because that's like a physical therapy to tighten the muscle so that the injured area can be reshaped and learn to refunction with using other muscles that helps aid it, or the tightening of the muscles that creates TMJ. We're elongating it and stretching it so that that jaw joint, that disc, is not keep going back and forth. We're actually able to tighten that disc. So you have a tool that is going to help you to do all of that rather than just a tool that just works out your facial muscles. There are many tools out there on Amazon or on you go in social media, you see different things that people put in their mouth. You got to be really careful. For Hunter, there's something that a lot of guys do, which is a big thing that goes in the mouth and you clench on it to be able to get more square faces. Well, getting that square face, it's going to create TMJ issues. We can never clench. We don't want to clench and work out the muscles. We're already clenching all day long, all of us. We need to unclench and do these exercises. So if that makes sense. So a lot of these tools that are out there are not made by professionals that know that region. So knowing that, this picture that I keep showing every time, which is very important to me, it only shows one layer of artery in the facial structure. I just want you to pay attention. Look at the lower jaw and look what passes behind the lower jaw. So if we clench and this jaw pushes back, look what we can do to the brain. The lower jaw and what passes behind it. If we clench, put something big in our mouth and clench like a big jaw breaker or a piece of plastic that we're clenching on to get these square faces, we're actually harming the jaw joint, cutting circulation to the upper power, which is our brain and facial structure, the temporal section, the back of the head. So we are growing the face this way by over clenching. And I would say, like, if you look at a hamster has a big muscles that is in the corner of their face. So what we're doing is we're actually not very aesthetically pleasing our facial structure. We want to, other than that, is we're actually harming the jaw joint. So for me, it scares me when I see things that are out there that people are promoting and it's legal and it's out there that could really harm kids or adults that take that in their hand. What I want to do is bring the awareness of people to understand that the face is a very vascular region. It needs very calculated movements to be able to plump. And I am totally prophesize against invasive procedures. So if we can get the kids that are 15 and 16 involved with doing the belly lip appliance early on their life, hopefully we can prevent injections. Hopefully we can prevent contouring the facial structure, because that's something that we have to do it repeatedly. And every time we're doing this contouring, the next time around, these liquids that they're putting in our face are not really being absorbed, and they're moving. Our faces are really changing. And if you look at some of our singers and some of our actors out there, some of them look like their face is so full and big because of so much injections. When about 15 years ago, when fillers came out, they told us that it's absorbed after 6 months, after a year. Now we know it's not absorbed. It is actually recycles in our face, goes to somewhere else. And no, we have to be very aware. And even though it's indication for injections and Botox, we don't want to do it like routinely, like it's like drinking water. We need to really think of what the side effects, and if we really need that, or can we do something else that's non-invasive prior to doing these expensive invasive procedures. Especially for those of us that do Botox in our forehead. Just remember, there's now studies showing that injecting Botox around your forehead affects the brain activity. So these are things that they didn't teach us. We're learning as we're going, because everything is so new. Maybe another 30 years it becomes banned. We learn so much about it, or things change and the solutions that they make are changing, where they're not as harmful. But we know that Botox in certain areas, especially forehead, are going to affect our brain. So I don't want to do anything like that to myself, so I wouldn't wish for anybody. Again, I'm not anti-Botox. There are indications for it. I'm not anti-fillers. There's some people that had facial asymmetry because of injuries and surgeries that they've done, and they have areas that they really need to be filled up to get them the aesthetic result that they want. But I think we in US are in general overdoing it. And our youngsters are learning, oh, I want to go fast. It's things that are fast could be invasive. Work out your body. I mean, I don't know how else you can work out your body other than putting the time in the gym and being consistent with it. Same is for the face.
And that's really a good point, because especially now with this fast-paced society, we really want instant results. Like, instant gratification is one of the most common things that we get from social media usage, and we're so accustomed to that idea, and knowing that you have to be consistent with something because it'll be long-term results is something that a lot of people don't really feel comfortable with anymore. And that's something we have to kind of retrain ourselves and unlearn, that instant gratification is not something we can always get. And usually long-term gratification is a lot better and a lot sustainable and a lot healthier for you.
It's a routine. Your face is just like your body. I mean, if I don't go to the gym or I don't do the workout that I'm used to doing it, I will gain weight, and my muscle would become looser. Yes, if I want to keep my leg muscles strong, and I want my ab to support my back and to be a healthy individual at age of 55, I need to be consistent. So face muscles, no different. The good news is the body, we go to the gym, we have to average spend an hour in a gym. With the facial muscles, because the muscles are so small, I'm recommending no more than 2 minutes. I mean, if there are people that do 10 minutes a day of facial workout, for me, 2 minutes a day is sufficient to keep your face pumping, getting the blood circulation increasing, getting the collagen formation by that pumping action, and doing it correctly. Not only you will benefit from the lifting and the tightening, but also you will get it's a relaxation yoga method, because we teach you the breath work to do. And because the vertical exercise, it's to move the jaw forward. For the vertical exercise, we're actually increasing circulation, reducing the sympathetic nervous system activation. And by doing that, we're actually calming your whole system, neurovasculature. Your whole nervous system becomes calm. You become better decision makers, do better in life by just putting yourself at the center, your core.
Yes. I also kind of want to go back really quickly to the point that you were talking about how we're overdoing injections and fillers.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to add to that. I think it's become people are also going to just people that aren't even certified trained to do these procedures correctly. We're talking about women that are getting fillers at someone's house, and I'm not even exaggerating. This is actually a really common thing where someone just gets trained by someone else that in one day that isn't even like board certified, isn't a doctor or a nurse or any sort. They have no affiliation in that field. They're simply just someone that got trained by someone else. It's as if I were to train someone.
Yeah. No,
if I were to get trained by someone. Like,
you need to go, if you have to get something like that done, I'm going to recommend you to really do your due diligence and read the bio of your medical doctor. The medical doctors that I would recommend, if I ever had it to do something with for somebody, or somebody asked me, who do you recommend? I would say dermatologists, plastic surgeons, maybe ENTs, people that are really comfortable with the face and they know all the blood supply, nerve, and artery that passes in this region. They're familiar, not injuring we've seen some injured faces. We can't have nerve damages. So the more the person that does these, administers these, is knowledgeable in that structure, the better. So I'm not going to go to an internal medicine doctor, even though they studied face. It's not something that they focused on. I want to go somewhere that they've done this and they know this anatomy. They've done so many cadavers and they've looked at the nerves and they've touched it. They know what layer goes after what layer to be able to get my injections going for anybody that I love in my life.
I agree.
So that's very important. People go to cosmetologists. People go to nurse estheticians. Nurse estheticians are wonderful people. I'm not against it, but I would personally, if I'm going to have somebody inject my face, he better be an MD, board certified in something in this face. I would say either dermatology or plastic surgery. I wouldn't go to internal medicine. I wouldn't go to a doctor that does the feet, podiatrist. I wouldn't go, but there's so many clinicians that they've gone to this field because it's a lot of money making and they're not really knowledgeable, and we're getting so many injuries. Even the best of the best make mistakes, but at least we can reduce that risk.
Absolutely, exactly. So that's really important. If you're going to invest the money in, you're going to go for injections, make sure you go with the right people, because it can be very expensive in the long run by going with someone that isn't certified, and then it's just because it's cheaper, and then it's just going to result in negative side effects, either looking botched or also just having like a nerve damage. So
anyways, if you're one of those guys, you don't need to buy BLA, but if you're buying BLA, you better be in the field of health and wellness and want to do something naturally. You want to put the time on a daily basis, that minute time. A minute is very short. You're talking about 5-6 vertical exercises, 5-6 horizontal exercises with resistance to get that minute filled up. It is a minute that I cannot describe the feeling after the doing. What you feel, you need to do it until you do it. You cannot feel it. And if you are an influencer and you want to get your hands on one at no charge, DM us on TikTok so that we can work together, so that you can have one that you can hopefully have, so that you can influence more people. Our goal is awareness of this product that's out there. We don't have too much investment or investors behind us. We're just a very small company. I don't believe in anybody coming in and dictating my procedures. We take the time, 15 to 30 minutes sometimes, and train you on Zoom. That takes a lot of time. It's because we care and we want you to do it correctly, and we want you to benefit from doing the BLAfit applying. So whether you're from Amazon buying the BLA or BLA from our Shopify store, we have a little card in our boxes that says, take advantage of your complimentary 5 minutes. It was supposed to be 5 minutes, but it's never been 5 minutes. I go in the room and I see Natalie on Zoom for at least 15 to 20 minutes in some cases, and I sometimes pop in and I do the training. It's never been 5 minutes. We always lock half an hour actually, just so that we don't back to back to clients' training.
Yeah.
This is my private practice. I treat patients with sleep apnea, TMJ, and orthodontics. We have a full-time practice. This is something we do on our lunch hour, on our times that Natalie has for the trainings. So it's something that we have to think when we sell thousands of this, how are we going to do that? We may have to go to group training, but for now it's one-to-one training. You come across the camera, you tell us what you want to do with your face. If you have TMJ, we will be able to give you some guidance of how to do it correctly. Natalie calls me, brings me in, so I can input what I would do if I had TMJ. Even though I don't have your x-ray, at least I can look at your physics and your bite posture, and I could tell you what to do to improve those symptoms. But our overall goal is to bring the awareness that there are things that you can do, like yoga for your face, that are not myth, that are workout with resistance, that work out your facial muscles. Plump up. I mean, people say, how do you plump your lips? We're doing workout. This is weight training. The arms, you see how much I have to put pressure with my hand to bring in? This loop has the resistance that was built perfectly for your jaw and your face to have enough resistance to get that plumping action and get these muscles worked out. And if we want to engage these facial muscles, we've got to do it slowly. We teach you, we train you, we make you masters on the other side, but you have to trust the system.
Absolutely. And you know what some of my favorite responses when we do the trainings are the most common ones that we get is, wow, this is actually really hard, or wow, I can feel the pump in my muscles, or wow, this is so challenging, I didn't realize how weak my facial muscles are. Those are actually some of the most common responses that we get. Oftentimes they always say that they feel really good afterwards, they feel very relaxed, and their muscles, they feel like they really got a good workout for their muscles in just a minute. Like, all you really need is a minute. And
so whether you want to do it for just before your photo shoot and get that plump action of your facial muscles before they put makeup artists. We work with makeup artists that put these for the actors, and they do this before their makeup artist is doing the makeup, or before their photo shoot, so that they look more plumper in their facial muscles. Or if you're looking for long term, doing it on a daily basis so that you can get that plumping action on a day in and day out.
Yes.
And improve your relaxation, putting your whole mind into center, and do a yoga for your face.
Yes. And before we leave, Joey asked, what is face yoga?
Face yoga means any exercises that you do with your face that is not something that you do on a daily basis. Does that make sense? So like when I'm talking to you, I'm not using these cheek muscles. Mm-hmm. So there's exercises out there that you do to get these muscles, like extra exercises. For example, if I didn't have the BLA, holding my cheek and moving my cheek, I'm creating resistance with my hand to be able to move these so that we can build up those little muscles. And there's like things that you can do with your jaw to open. But because these people that make the facial exercises or face yoga movements, just like the yoga you're doing in a mat for the rest of your body, you need to know the jaw structure and the facial circulation to be able to make these exercises correctly. Otherwise, we can actually injure our jaw. We're working out facial muscles. For example, if we want to open and close with the resistant band, we always recommend moving the jaw forward and doing it. I'm going to actually demo that so you know what face yoga means. So when we're opening and closing, we're going to move the jaw forward on that, so that we're releasing the jaw joint, so that we're increasing circulation to the brain, and not the opposite. So here's one of the exercises so that you can see what face yoga with resistance on a BLAfit means on my TikTokers.
I'm going to explain what she's doing. She's anchoring the handles onto her lips. There's no teeth involvement. always make sure that you hold onto the resistance band with your forefinger and your thumb. Then, taking a nice deep breath in from her nose, always from the nose. She's going to use her upper and lower lip to bring the handles together, simultaneously shifting her lower jaw forward. Not only is this going to help engage your neck muscles to help define the jawline and tighten the jowls, this will also open up your airway to allow more blood flow and oxygen flow to your brain. All of these movements are slow and steady, focusing on that mind to muscle connection and allowing the BLA to open your mouth slowly back up to the original starting position. So again, upper and lower lip are both working to bring the handles together, and then the jaw is moving forward. Notice how much neck engagement she has right now. That's because all of these muscles are working to form that resistance, and then opening back up to the original starting position. So when we say one repetition means opening and closing. That counts as one, but look at how slowly she's doing that. It's really important not to rush the movement. Our jaw is very fragile. We don't want to just open and close very abruptly. We want to just be very careful and focusing on the pump that our muscles are getting when we do the movement. How do you feel?
Worked out.
Yeah. You always
your
feel so
upper
good
lip-
afterwards, right?
Yeah, because the upper lip, most of us don't use it. There's a lot of
Exactly.
people that whenever they have anything that has with resistance, they do it fast. They do it
Right.
like this.
And that's exactly what we don't want to do.
And when you do that, you're working out, but you're actually, I got so relaxed, but you're actually not using your upper lip. With this, we train you to move the upper lip. This upper lip is so weak, you won't believe it. That's why we are so flat on our lip muscles. So when we do these exercises, we do it slowly so that the upper lip, lower lip, the jaw shift movement are all working together. So right now, I feel like all this is pumped up. I feel like it's big in my mind. I can't see it. And then all of this and this, everything is like feels like it worked out. And because of that resistant band that there is in there, you feel that immediate tightening. But if you do it on a day in and day out, you will see the result. People have told me that my skin texture is so much texture, and I have better circulation. Like my face looks like I put so much stuff on it. It's because of this plumping action. You're creating your own collagen, you're creating your own blood circulation, and pumping action in your face, of course, is going to have great results because you're increasing circulation to your face. All this blood supply in the face are being pumped in and out. So it's a great, it allows the blood to flow all over your face and your neck, and then you're tightening. And then the other thing that I feel is I'm more relaxed. You hear my voice. Because when you move the jaw forward, it's a parasympathetic exercise. You're actually increasing your parasympathetic nervous system, so you're more relaxed. And then the breath work makes your brain feel a little bit like, oh, I'm so relaxed, I could just sit down and just relax and have a coffee, because it puts your system from that running and nervous system and I gotta do this to this calm place. Okay, everything is good. Everything will be good.
Exactly.
And we want you to feel all of that. We will teach you all of that. We will make sure that you're good. And if you didn't, you wanted us to recheck back with you, you send us an email. Natalie gets back on the phone with you to teach you again. Our objection is not to sell you something that you're going to dump. My objection is to produce a legacy from BLAfit Appliance. I want BLA to be in every household. I want BLA to be something that we add into our daily life. Just like now we're accustomed to go to gym, I want people to know that the face exercise is part of our life. And maybe that's a better way than other invasive procedures.
Right. And I also want to add something else. So one of the a common question that we get is there's one resistance on the BLA. And of course, after doing it from consistent use, your facial muscles are naturally going to get stronger. And eventually these exercises might become easier for you. So something they always ask is, how can I continue making these exercises challenging despite using the same weight that the resistance offers on the BLA. So during the pandemic, I was working out in the gym. Gyms in my house, the gyms are closed, so I was limited to only a certain amount of weight, and eventually got to the point where it was no longer challenging doing those same movements. So I got creative. I'm like, how can I make this movement challenging with the same weight? And there's so many ways that you can actually make it more challenging. One is by slowing down the movement. Instead of doing a squat very quickly, focus on doing I should do eccentric movements where I focus on doing the squat 5 seconds to get to the bottom. And then you hold that for a few seconds and then you come back up. And that's just gonna feel a lot harder, no matter even if I'm using the same weight. So the same with the belly lip appliance. If you just focus on slowing down the movement, focus on holding down the belly lip appliance before opening back up, you will notice a huge difference in how much more challenging it is and doing it a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that to your attention so that you don't think that you can only get a certain amount of usage out of it and then it'll no longer be hard. There's so many ways to make it harder with the same amount of weight.
Well, we have a second generation coming up in 2024. That's for those who are our customers that have been using this for over 2 years now, and it's durable and it doesn't break, but they now are like, okay, I'm ready for the next challenge.
Yes.
I want you to know that the first generation is good for at least a year to two of usage, and you can just slow it down and do the same exercises, get the same benefit. But for those that they want now another challenge and they want even stronger, I would recommend after a year to two, no earlier than that, start getting to the second generation. I am on the second generation right now. I've been using it for over 3-4 years now, my first generation. And we now just came up with the color that we want for the second generation. All the colors we use are FDA approved colors. And these are durable equipment you're buying, like equipment that you buy for your house that will last you 2, 3, 4 years. Belly lip appliance is a durable device. It looks simple. It's actually a very, very, I just talked to the manufacturer in California and I said, oh, well, the nylons are the same. So it's not even a nylon. It's a very special fiber that they use. And that's why it makes sense to me now, because I always thought that it looks like a plastic, but it's actually a fiber that they use that's medically graded fiber. That's why you can use it for 400,000 times before it even cracks. So people say, oh, it looks like plastic. It's actually not a plastic like plastic that you brush your teeth with. It's a special fibers in this that allows you to do this so many times, and it doesn't lose the resistance and doesn't change the resistance if you do it correctly. So we're coming with the second generation in 2024. So sit tight and it will come out. Unfortunately, we can only offer one color in that generation for now, and it's going to be in pink mode, just because we have it's a color that's happy and a lot of male and female love it. So we're going to stick with that one color for now until we see what happens.
And I love the idea because pink is my favorite color. So
okay, good.
I'd also like to add one last thing before we end this live. I am still my first generation BLA, and I've had mine for over a year, and I still find the exercises to be challenging. I'll still get off a Zoom call and be like, wow, oh my gosh, my muscles, like they feel like they really got a very challenging workout. So it doesn't matter how long you've had your BLA, as long as it's not broken, it's still going to be effective.
2-3 years.
Yeah, so I love my BLA, and I hope everyone gets the opportunity to try BLA for themselves and really see how the workout feels, because people oftentimes say that they can create the same resistance with their fingers or other things.
Oh no.
And that would be so cool if we could, but we can't, and that is why BLA is here.
Well, it's not only about the workout. You can do face yoga without any.
Right. Absolutely.
Any exercise is great. for your face if you're not able to
I agree.
do BLA. But if you're one that wants to have a tool to get the workout done, or a resistant band or weights to do that, this has got the perfect weight training. But
Yes.
without this and moving the jaw forward, you can't use your finger and move your lower jaw forward and feel the resistance.
Right.
You need to have that resistant band, and you need to really close your eyes and engage muscles to be able to bring those lips together. We can't do it without a tool. Usually it's very difficult. But if you are one that's looking for something to exercise your face, and you're into fitness and you're into beauty, natural beauty, this is for you.
I agree. I think that's a good place to end this live. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. If you want to follow our social medias, all of our handles are BLAfit. You're also welcome to send us an email at order@blafit.com if you happen to have any questions and would like us to offer you more guidance or information about this product. So
yes.
Or if you already do have a BLAfit and you want to schedule your Zoom training, it doesn't matter if you bought it a year ago and you still haven't gotten your Zoom training, you can still take advantage of that. Just send us an email. Our email is order@blafit.com, and we'll go ahead and send you a link so you can schedule your training at your convenience. So
yes, thank you so much, everybody.
okay, bye
Have
everyone.
a great Monday.
Have a wonderful week as well. We'll be here next week. So go ahead and end this. Good.